Carlos, thank you for joining me. Thanks
Absolutely.
for being here. I got to tell you, I'm excited to talk about this one. This is one that I've been thinking about for a while. I'm new to Florida, right? So I've been here for about two and a half years, and I'm looking forward to all the things we get to experience together over the coming years ahead. I plan on living in Florida for a long, long time. You've lived in Florida for upwards of 20 years.
Yep, a little bit over 20 years.
A little
now.
over 20. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've loved Disney that whole time, or just?
Yeah, It's interesting because we moved in 1999, June of 1999. And before actually living here in Florida, the first time we came to Disney was 1994.
Wow.
And since then, my family and I fell in love with it. And we started coming once or twice every single year. And once my parents decided to move to Florida and they actually bought a brand new house, then they will use as an excuse the fact that they had to check on the construction. And we also will squeeze the Disney trip, which was amazing. So, yeah, once we discovered Disney, that was it.
That's awesome. And how old were you when that happened?
I was 14 at that time.
Okay.
14.
So you've been going ever since, and it's been that connection with family, even from the earliest days.
Yeah.
And you've been feeling that.
All our memories have been made, like anybody else that goes to Disney. It's just to make memories.
Absolutely. So. And you've raised a family here for over 20 years. You've been experiencing the parks. You've been, creating content, having a great time doing it. My big question, the big thought of my mind, we've been friends for a while. My thought is, has it changed the magic for you? And if after 20 years we're here together, is the magic possibly, at least in a way, going to change for others?
I don't think it changes. It just gives you a different perspective. So, for example, when we came here as a tourist, like anybody else does at the beginning, you're always in the go mentality. Over here, once you live over here, and like us, that we are annual pass holder, you kind of like, okay, let me slow down. And as content creators, sometimes we got things planned out, and we're like, go and tackle those things, and we're like, okay, time to just have fun, time to do something else. Let's slow down. Sometimes, the kids will want to do something, and I just sit down on a bench or just watch people back and forth. So, it has slowed down. So the magic never changes for us. It just continues to give us that excitement of like, okay, what's next? What's coming up?
So, and you're thinking about those new things, but you're people watching. You described people watching, and I love it. I've really been getting into it, just kind of like chilling. Just like, I'm not doing anything. I don't need to take a single picture. I'm just chilling. I'm having fun. And I'm thinking about in terms of the magic, whether it's Disney, Universal, wherever you are, and you're thinking about people watching. Do you think that this has happened over time, like slowly, like this has been a slow transition for you, or it was a pretty quick where it's like, okay, I've done everything I needed to do. I've done all the rides, I've done all the shows, I've filmed all the stuff I want to film. Yeah. Now I'm either waiting for new content or I am just trying to enjoy the day and not really worry about filming at all.
I think it's a combination of everything. It's depending on my mood, depending if I want to, because it relaxes me. So as I was younger, of course, I was anxious to do rights, right? And then after that, things kind of slow down, and you're like, okay, let me just sit over here, chill, let's enjoy our moment, let's create memories, now that the kids are older, they kind of go on their own, and we just sit and watch them, from a distance. So it's kind of cool to see that. The other thing that I love, especially because like a lot of people here in Florida, I worked in theme parks, so I was blessed to work for Universal Studios for 7 years, I think.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I started as a busboy, cleaning tables all the way to management. And at one point in my life, I did work for Disney at Animal Kingdom for about 4 months. And kind of had to stop because I had another full-time job, and I was kind of like killing myself at that point.
That's smart that you took that time. Right. Yeah. I can't imagine.
Right, but after it's interesting because yes, I worked for Universal Studios before, but I always admire everything that they did for the cast member, their training program and how they developed it. So my background also is hospitality management, so I hold a degree on that. So I was like, I want to see what a Disney cast member is all about. So I decided to go for a part-time job, and I went for it. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of cool to see the whole perspective from the cast member. And then we're talking back in, I think that was in 2005 when I did that. And it was awesome. It was awesome to be trained by the Disney training program and things like that. So Disney's all is surrounding us. Disney's the core of Central Florida.
Yes, it is. It's true. It's 100% true. But it's great. It's great to hear that you went through that experience. Did that being a cast member? Now, on top of that, like you not only live in the area for 25 years, but you were a cast member. Did that change the magic for you? At least at Animal Kingdom, where you worked.
Yeah. Well, I got lucky because Animal Kingdom at that point was my favorite part.
Okay.
So I was like, I get to work on my favorite part. Am I going to get tired of it?
Right.
Nope.
It was 4 months. But you still weren't tired of it.
No.
I love it.
I still love Animal Kingdom.
Right.
I always say I love Animal Kingdom for the exception of the summertime because, it's hot. That's the hottest park.
Yes.
Of all 4 parks.
I feel like it's the least shade, too. It's like you're just walking around in the blazing sun. But, you find small areas here and there.
Part is very humid because of the, when you can find tree, the humidity is intense during the summer. But it's the largest park. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
It's bigger. It's larger than Magic Kingdom.
Right.
So,
but the parking lot, don't forget the parking lot of Magic Kingdom now. That changes the size of Magic Kingdom a little bit.
That's huge.
Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. Now I'm sure this is one of the things that I've recently experienced. Again, I've only got 2.5 years to your 25 plus. The parks themselves have changed in terms of how I see them every day. So I walk in and I look for the new things, but then what happened was, this is me, and tell me if I'm alone here, Animal Kingdom as an example, those walking trails. When I would take a trip to Disney World, I almost never went on those walking trails. I mean, every so often. But now that I live here, that's almost one of my favorite parts because I've done the rides and all that, and it's great. I still do them, and I love them. Don't get me wrong there. But it's the fact that now we get to experience something that we wouldn't have probably made time for on a very limited trip.
Right.
Do you find yourself like looking for these secret things to do that yes, anyone can do them, but locals have more time for those things.
Right. That part, yes, because as local, you could slow down, and also becoming a parent. That actually helped me because when you have your kids are babies or in that toddler stage, they love animals. Yeah. So that's how I got to discover a lot of the things on Animal Kingdom. I didn't even know about those trails until I was like looking into. I'm like, we can see tigers, we could see gorillas, we could see all that. So then the kids enjoy that. And again, once you become a parent, you just want to live Disney's magic through their eyes.
I love it.
And even as a Universal team member, there's nothing better, more satisfying than listening to kids' excitement because it's their first visit to any of the parks. So even working for Universal, we will engage in conversations. Have you been to Disney yet? Yeah, and then you get to hear about their first encounter with Mickey and Minnie and all that. So everything for me is just surrounded through the kids' eyes. Kids.
And so that's changed for you, though. I mean,
it
used to be it was you when you were 14, and then you had kids, and then they got to experience it.
Right.
I kind of want to dive into this one. Has it changed the magic for you in a way that is, it almost doesn't matter what happens on the day-to-day. It's just like, hey, we had a good time together, we made memories together, we smiled together, and that's the end of it. I don't even care what we went on.
We got tons of memories. So yes, I was 14, so I got to experience that as a teenager and with my family. Then my now wife moves here to Florida, and we're dating, and she becomes a cast member.
Right.
So then I get to experience Disney as a couple. So I get to see through her eyes and experience everything that she was experiencing for the first time. So I got to see that. Yeah. Then we get married. So then we experience it as a married couple. And now that we're parents, that's when a lot of things change. So I never, for example, I regret this. I wish I would have just okay, let's have a character dining, just the two of us. But for me, that wasn't appealing at that point. It was like, no, that's more for the families. So for whatever reason, I always saw it that way. And the minute that we actually got Kyla was born, we started doing character dining. Right. And I was like, wow, that's a different perspective. This is kind of cool, So I had lived through the magic in different stages in my life.
I love it. Speaking of, Kyla, you're here. Thanks for joining. How do you feel in terms of going to Disney and experience it? You're here all the time. Like, you get to experience these things all the time. As a younger woman, does it lose the magic for you in any way? Do you still feel the magic, or does it start to get boring after a little while?
Well, it's still really, really fun, and to hang out with your family. I mean, we're busy all the time, so like just us going to the park and having fun, that's all I need.
Yeah.
Honestly.
What's your favorite part about experiencing the magic, whether it be Universal or Walt Disney World or wherever you're going? Like, we go to one destination. Is it the rides? Is it the food? Is it the shopping? Is it the character meet and greets? Or is it just spending time together as a family? And that's probably going to play into how old you are now. I would have figured that it probably changes over time.
Right, it does.
I'm gonna say all of it, because all of it's so fun. Like the rides, the food.
The food, yeah.
The food. Sometimes hanging out with my father. Sometimes.
Wait a minute.
Sometimes.
No.
Sometimes. But that's awesome. So you have a favorite food now that has it changed over time?
It's definitely changed.
Okay.
I'm definitely the most pickiest eater.
Oh,
in the family,
okay.
So.
Okay.
So our followers in our channel,
Yeah.
they love watching Kyla tasting food.
Huh.
Because, and again, one of the things as a content creator that we want to showcase our entire family.
Of course,
right?
of course.
And sometimes as parents, we're like, okay, don't say that. Be nicer. You don't have to put that face, So we started correcting her, and then as I'm editing, I'm taking all her expressions out. And I made the comment in one of our live stream, and one of our viewers said, please don't, because she's a teenager,
right,
and she's representing that age.
Yep.
And when we first started our channel, that was their goal. They wanted to speak on behalf of kids their age.
I love it.
So, which as a parent, that's kind of hard, because we always think, if you ever talk to your mom probably has stories where she's like, I planned this for all three of you, thinking that you guys are gonna love it, and one say I love it, the other one, it's okay,
Yeah.
Versus them, they're like, no, we want to speak on behalf of the kids. We want to say what we like or don't like. So every time that we have a food review or a new festival, people literally strive to see her reaction. Yeah. And I've learned, I just leave it as it is. So I barely edit them anymore.
Oh, really? Okay.
She's like straightforward. She's very honest. If she likes it, she likes it. She doesn't, nope.
Yep.
I taste it better, you know.
It's great. I mean, being honest like that, but you're here, so you get the opportunity to say to younger kids, hey, you know what? This is something I like. This is something I don't. You can be here and not have to worry about creating content quickly if you're running on vacation. I'm thinking about if you're running on vacation, how are you going to create that content and try all of these things? I feel like at the end we all end up with just really full from all the food we've been on, and oh my gosh. But that's awesome that you have the opportunity to share all that, and the fact that as a content creator, you've not changed your style, but made it more your own, and the whole family comes together that way. And I have to imagine, as a parent, this is not only good for content creation and you enjoy that part of it, but it's got to help kind of reminisce. At least for me anyway, I'm thinking about some of the trips I've gone with my sister, my mom, my brother, and we go and I rewatch my own videos just to go and re-experience it with them. Do you find yourself doing that?
I do it all the time, especially our channel's being up now for 3 years.
Oh, wow, okay.
And it's been amazing to see both of them grow up in front of the camera, change a little bit on their preferences of what they like to do or don't do. How they were so little and quiet and to now more confident. So it had changed a lot of their perspective, my perspective. But for me, it's one of those things as a husband, when my wife was trying to convince me to allow them to create a channel, because imagine that conversation.
Yep. Yes, I do.
Mom, Dad, we want to talk to you. So the two of them kind of tagged him. We have an idea for you. What's your idea? And how much it's going to cost me? That was the first question.
See? Oh, goodness.
We want to do a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I asked them why, and they're like, because we want to help other families. Okay, you got my attention.
Yeah.
Say more. And we're talking about Kyla I think you were 9, right, at that time? I think you were 9.
Yes.
3 years ago.
No, you were 11. I'm sorry. You were
Yeah.
11, Kyla was 9. And Kyla goes like, Dad, we want to help families to have a good vacation. And I'm like, I don't know about that, Kyla. And she's like, hear me out. We're blessed. And I looked at her. At 11 years old, she's telling me that. We're blessed because we get to go to all the parks and have fun. All we need is a camera and tell our story and recommend. And I'm like, okay, let me talk to your mom.
Yeah.
And they left the room. And then Karen said to me, look at it this way. At the end of the day, we're creating memories. If this channel ever stops, we got all those memories already recorded for us. And we will forever cherish that moment. Yeah. And they're asking, in a nutshell, to spend more time with us having fun. Now they're about to become preteen or a teenager. Think about how many kids at that age really want to spend time having fun with a parent.
That's the truth right there. That I think is such a fundamental component of why it's so important to capture those memories, whether it be pictures or video. And this is a question I have for you, Kayla. Do you feel like creating the content with the family has made the experience more fun just because you're going out with the camera? So now you've got the camera in hand, or Dad's got the camera in hand, and you're going out there and you're creating something. Do you think is enhanced it? It's made it more fun because you're doing this together?
It has been more fun and helping more families and us coming closer together, so it has been really more fun.
It enhanced it. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, and you being able to witness, because we see you around.
Yeah, we chat.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
We actually say all the time that Michael is an extended family member of our family.
Glad to be here.
So and we love him dearly. So you've seen us in the different special events at Disney.
Yes.
So for us, it was awesome to be able to do Bull Bash, the 3 of us. Yep. And then only Kyle and I could go to the Very Mary's after hours. Yeah. But Kyla had a blast. Yeah. And we have so many memories that we created as a father and daughter. And here we are in Magic Kingdom in Disney, having fun, enjoying the magic.
And how old are you, Khalil?
I am 11 years old.
11. And do you love the magic? Do you love Disney?
I have never lost it. Sometimes it can get a bit boring having a camera in front of us, but it's still very fun because then you think about all the moments that you have with that camera. And if you need to look at it, you can go back and look at it, so you still have the memories.
I love your honesty, though, in terms of, like, sometimes you got the time with the camera, sometimes you have the time without the camera. And do you feel like the time without the camera can be even better than time with, and vice versa? So sometimes it's better with, sometimes it's better without. Like, there's an up and down there.
I would say that sometimes it is. Okay. Because sometimes you're just really focused with the camera that you don't have enough time to spend out of the camera, right, and do your own things. So your mental state is like what to say about it instead of what should I do.
That's awesome. I got it. It makes a lot of sense. What's your favorite thing to do at Disney without the camera?
I would just say ride rides. Yep. And that's really fun. And sometimes try food.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I really like it.
And have you noticed, Dad, any changes with either of the kids in terms of being in front of the camera or not being in front of the camera? Does it change who they are? Does it make them kind of feel a little different, or is it just always just having fun together as a family? And the camera almost at this point, because you guys have been doing it for 3 years, it doesn't really change anything.
It has obviously brought us together. We do a lot of things together. We love spending, as you can see, we love spending time together.
I love it. My favorite part.
One thing that I notice about them is that they don't believe on the power of either social media or YouTube. So, for example, sometimes they get recognized, and they're like, and when people come and say, "Oh, thank you for your videos and all that, thank you for being honest," they automatically turn around and say to us privately, I cannot believe that people are watching our videos. I can't believe that we help people. And I asked them, I said, how you feel? It feels awesome to know that we're helping. Yeah. But it's still that they don't believe it. They believe that they're talking to a camera and that is editing and posting it. Sometimes I show them the views and subscribers, and they're like, what? That's crazy. I wouldn't even think that we would have made it there, you know. So you could tell that they continue to be like humble, which I love.
Yes,
and I teach them that to always be, you know, centered and take the time to talk to people, greet people. But they don't believe it.
That's awesome.
They just you can tell that they continue to do their life, which is awesome to see too.
That's fantastic. That is an absolutely fantastic thing, and I think that if more people were thinking that way, it would really help because it's the real life that is the true meaning here. That's clearly you have an amazing family. I've had the opportunity to hang out with you guys a lot, and you what you've done as you and Karen have done an unbelievable job with both the kids in terms of how they love family time. And it's not just, here's an interesting question for you, Hillel. Do you feel like with YouTube that when people come up to you, do you feel famous?
A bit.
A little bit.
Because I'm not really used to, and sometimes it's just one, but sometimes there's like 4 or 5 in one day.
That's awesome.
And then it feels very exciting.
That's awesome. Does it change how you see the magic when people come up to you?
Yeah, because I feel like we're helping people,
That's good.
but without it, I feel like, it's just a camera and we're just saying things sometimes.
Yeah. And the helping people, that's the part that I love. I love the fact that this is all about helping people and sharing your honest feedback and saying to yourself, and you are 11, and you say to, hey, other 11-year-olds, like, this is the thing you want to do, or this is the thing not to eat, don't eat that. You know, and that's got to be such a wonderful feeling for you, and I love it.
Yeah, and then to hear, because they come to me and after they had conversation with their classmate, and they're like, Dad, I found out that so-so has never been in Disney, or they never been in Universal, and I just cannot believe it. And they just come to realization on how lucky and blessed they are. Run Disney.
Yeah. My gosh, yes.
Recently, I know that you just started Run Disney,
Yep.
and I remember sharing this with you. Khalil participated on Run Disney since he was in diaper.
Right.
They had the
diaper race.
match.
Yep.
So Khalil was signed up.
Are you ready to do the 10K? You're gonna do a 10K in the future, 5K in the future? Okay, in the
So-
future.
But I want to keep going on 5Ks.
5K.
I have not done anything more than a 5K. There is no shame in doing only 5Ks.
no.
I think that, I've got to train for the 10K personally, but I only plan on doing 5Ks. Like that's going to be my thing, just 5K. Because I feel like as locals, again, we walk that distance easily. Every time we're at Disney, we easily walk 3.1 miles every time.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's not as difficult as something like a 10K or, the idea of a half marathon to me is terrifying.
You
But
should walk a mile from Magic Kingdom's parking lot.
you saw that, right? It's just, oh my gosh. I see that route. I'm like, okay, you're going to need some time here.
Exactly.
But we'll all get there, I'm sure, at some point.
Yeah, so they want to do a family 5K. We did one already, but it was for the cast members. And every time we try to sign up, Run Disney gets full. Like,
Yeah, I'm sure.
quick.
It's very popular.
Right, but that's their goal, to do a 5K as a family.
I love it. I love the idea of a family 5K. That to me sounds so exciting, so much fun, and it's always something to aspire to. And as an amazing dad, and I can tell you are, like, it's easy to see from even the distance here.
Thanks.
What is it that you feel makes being the parent? What's the most important ingredient for those who are out there who are creating content? Let's just say you're creating content. You got younger kids. You want to do things together. You want to have what you have created so unbelievably, where you have this family dynamic that just loves spending time together. To me, and I know you know this, 14-year-old, 11-year-old, spending time together as a family, they're like, whoa, what are you talking about? So I'm almost trying to understand, how have you done this? How have you made this possible with such an unbelievable family who love spending time together and love helping people? It's unbelievable.
I think it comes from where we come from, man. It's both Karen and I have been raised the same way.
Yeah.
We do when we are off camera, and because we also have other businesses.
Of course.
We're not doing things with our businesses. Then we spend time with our parents. We make sure that all of us go out for dinner. There's times that we do vacations with the entire family.
I love it.
None of these get documented. There's times that we document for the vlog, but you don't see any of our family members, and they're there. So all of us have been raised to be together. Karen and I are blessed again. Our children also they were raised by our parents. So they have seen that family union since the get-go.
Yeah.
So you start teaching them that, and then at that age of almost 14, because Kyla will be 14 soon in March.
I can tell it's hard to imagine for you.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. And Kalel is 11. Obviously, their preferences change, you know. So now it's okay. I gotta divide what I'm gonna do with each of them. So even in the park, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
How are we gonna do things that both of them like, or let's be fair to one and the other at the same time, you know? So what do you want to do, and what do you want to do?
I love it.
So one thing I learned as a content creator is that at the beginning we were like, okay, we gotta do this, and that. And until they start calling me out, they're like, Dad, but we're not having fun.
Okay. Wow.
I was like, okay, what do you mean we're not having fun? Well, we keep coming to the park and we never ride the rides. Oh, okay. And that's when it started hitting me. And so it's one of these things that, okay, what rides do you guys want to do?
Yeah.
I want to do this. Okay, I promise you that once we're done with this, you can do it. Or they'll say, hey, Dad, this ride is only 20 minutes. And then I stop. Okay, go ahead, do it now before it goes up again.
Yeah.
You know, so we have to learn kind of like pace ourselves, and then also let them be kids.
Of course.
Because, you know, that's what they're all about too. They want to have fun.
I think I struggled with this personally when I first started creating content, where you prioritize the content creation and the video over the fun.
Yeah.
And that's where they called you out. And the fact that they were able to call you out and just say, hey, Dad, this is not fun for us. And that shows that they are comfortable being kids and being themselves. And I think that's something that, and I'm speaking about myself for a second, I feel like that's something that's easy to forget. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just like, oh, I got to run and create this, and I've got to see this ride, and we've got to stand in this line for 8 hours for this popcorn bucket, you know what I mean? And it's like, you have to prioritize the family over that other piece of it that can take up a lot of your life.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great things going on in Disney, Universal.
Always.
But even watching your content, Mike, you know, when you talk about social media, YouTube included, it wraps you around in a way that it takes you away from the magic. It takes you away from, it's like a different world that once you get sucked in, it's hard to come out of it. And as a content creator, you feel the responsibility also that if people follow you, you have to answer them, you have to pay attention, that it becomes hard.
Yes.
It's not just taking the camera and talk to the camera, because you know you could spend easily 8 to 10 hours one day. And then even today, by the time that you wrap this video, you're going to have maybe 2 hours of content to just cramp into maybe 40 minutes. You know, it takes time, a lot of behind the scenes. So the kids have also learned to compromise too. They're like, okay, Dad, we know you have to edit, or we know you have to work, but I want to watch this movie. Can we have a movie night? Right. Okay, when do you guys want to have it? Tomorrow? Okay. So then we purposely plan it so they could have a movie night. So I just recently, I think it was last night when I finally watched Encanto, I think for the first time.
Oh my gosh, okay.
And they had watched it already. Oh, but I started watching it, and everybody came to next to me, and we all watched it together, even though they already watched it, but they understood that due to my business and YouTube, of course, I couldn't be there with them. But at the end of the day, the four of us were there together, you know, watching it. So the kids understand, and just like shaping them into that path of like, okay, we don't have to spend time as a family, but it's good to spend that quality of time. So it's not the quantity, it's the quality.
This is going to bring up another, it's difficult question. The kids are still a little younger. Do you, as a parent, allow them to have their own social media? And if so, are there certain restrictions to it so that they don't get pulled in and kind of disregard the family time? Because I know that's a topic that a lot of parents are kind of, working with.
It's a hard one because you don't want to, I don't want to be the mean dad. Like sometimes they will think that I am. they're over there like, oh, goodness. Sometimes I don't want to. It's just that we're living in a scary world. Yeah. The good thing about Kyla and Kalel is that they understand that there's good and there's bad, unfortunately.
Well, guess where they learned it? I want to point this out. That's where they learned it. Continue, please.
And so as a matter of fact, sometimes they see that what's happening with the news, there was a murder here and all that, they could come to us and say, I can't believe the people are that mean. Why people are doing that?
Right.
So it's kind of awesome to see that there's them being kids, their innocence. So I, as a father, I had to protect that.
Yes. So
they don't have individual social media account like they probably have in Instagram. They do have cool case adventures, our channel, but they don't. They read it. They go through once in a while. I know that they're into TikTok like everybody else, which it drives me nuts because obviously the content in TikTok is not proper for a kid their age. But as parents, we're like, okay, we cannot hide them.
Yeah.
They're gonna hear and learn.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, they're gonna hear and learn it from school. So we rather know that they are doing TikTok, watching TikTok. They don't like even doing TikTok. They like watching TikTok in front of us. They're doing it behind our back.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of times, because Kyla does a lot of TikToks, but she does it mostly because of movies. Kyla is a fanatic of movies.
I love it.
She's into Marvel. You have no idea.
She and my sister have to talk for sure. They're like Marvel, I'm telling you.
Probably. And she goes to TikTok just to listen to all the theories,
Sure.
what will happen with Marvel, what's going to happen with Doctor Strange.
That's good content. That's
right.
great.
No, it's great. Excellent. So she'll come to us like that. This is what I found out. Check this out. Or Mom, check this out. So a lot of times, like Karen, especially Karen, she knows exactly what Kyla is watching because Kyla constantly send her the TikToks that she's watching. They don't hide either. They're like next to us in TikTok, or he will be playing Fortnite next to us. So it's not that they're hiding it either.
Oh, we got to hook up on Fortnite for sure. We got to play a little bit. But that's great to hear. But it really sounds like it comes down to that sharing and that trust among family, and I love it. I think that it's something that, no matter where you are, whether you're close to Disney or wherever you are, it can really change how the entire life experience goes. And I think that, I've learned so much already from you, and just in a few minutes of chatting with you, because, and I can imagine it comes from how you were raised and how you trial and error and all those things. But it really goes to show that there's a lot of thought that comes into it, but it's fun, it's family, it's togetherness, and that's the end of it.
And that's the key, Mike. Even when I met you. You always take the time to talk to people. Even saying hi to you in the park, people come to say hi to you. You're very well-mannered and all that. And I had also the opportunity to meet your mom off camera, and seeing her on camera, through watching your channel. You could tell your mom did an excellent job with the three of you because it shows and it comes across. So, in other words, the same Michael that you see behind that camera is the same Mike that you're going to meet in person.
Thank you.
All with a smile and being positive. So it's also looking for people like that, people that have the same connection. You don't want to surround yourself with negativity, with people that drag you down. Are the theme parks perfect? No. Is everything in Disney magical? No. There are a company.
Yep.
However, we are past that. We continue to come to the parks because we still enjoy it. I think we're old enough by now that we're like, okay, the minute we don't enjoy something, we don't do it anymore. So, but we like it.
Yeah.
Again, we both have been surrounded by the magic for so long that we could talk about the before and now and hopefully the future.
That's true. We could. Well, okay. Well, speaking of the future, I'm thinking of the future, and very thoughtful compliments. Thank you very much. The fact that Disney is changing now, and you're local, and you get to experience these things, and things are taking a little longer. Tron, but Guardians has got a big update now, and that's fantastic. That's something we're all looking forward to. Has that? I'm thinking to myself for a moment. Again, 2.5 years versus 20 plus. These new attractions have almost become that magical moment that I felt a lot when I just would arrive from further away. I remember when I'd fly in and I'd go experience magic in Magical Express, and we could talk about that for a while too. Yeah. But you go in and you experience it, and had this wave of Disney, and I love it. And now it's different because you go in, you're there much more frequently, and you love it. Not taking away from it, but it feels like those waves of the magic, the waves of Disney kind of hit you. differently depending on what's happening. For example, the opening of a new attraction. Now, I know you've done these before, where it's like the brand new attraction. There's a lot of content to create, but do you feel like as a local, that's one of the biggest benefits you have to living here? You get to see the brand new things as they drop, or get a popcorn bucket because I can run over real quick, grab that bucket before they sell out.
Most definitely. I mean, like the popcorn bucket is a perfect example.
Yep.
Even though I was joking at home with about the whole 6-hour situation, even Karen brought an excellent point. You just don't know if that was the last day that some of those guests had in the park, before they went home in order to get that popcorn bucket. And I'm like, yeah, I take that. I understand. And so I think most of us are more into like, why would you buy so many popcorn buckets and then put it out there to sell? That's just, unfortunately, that's happened. But hey, I guess that's a side business. So I'm not here. I'm not here to judge anybody, right?
No.
So as a local, when you get to see not only the parks but Orlando grow, like
exponential. Like you've seen the construction. It's unbelievable.
It is insane. Even Tron. The other day I was just seeing, I think it was last Saturday, we were at Magic Kingdom, and I'm doing an update on Tron, and I even say to on the camera, I say, I remember when this was just a playing field.
Right.
So we've been blessed to see it from growing up.
Yep.
And it's unbelievable. Even Pandora.
Yes.
When they started that section.
Yes.
So it's kind of awesome to see them grow.
Yep.
If I may, I know we're talking about Disney, but for example, Universal, when I worked in Island of Adventure in 1999, May of 1999 is when the park opened. I started in July of 1999.
Did you really?
So I was able to see a little bit more of the opening of the park.
Wow. So
it's kind of cool to see now where the Velocicoaster was built.
Yes.
Which it was just nothing but like a lagoon, for me, I still can picture the Lost Continent, not Hogsmeade, a Dueling Dragon, no Hagrid. So,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I think the only thing that's still under construction forever is I-4. I don't care if it's 20 or 30 years, I-4 will forever be on construction.
That's so true.
But it's kind of, look at that recent change that they did, the signage for the Galactic Star Cruise.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They just changed it a few days ago. So that's another change that we get to see.
Yep.
A brand new sign.
That's true. I mean, even the small things are cool for us. I mean, we get to see the evolution of Disney over time, which is really outstanding, and I love it. I absolutely do.
Seeing the castle on their 25th celebration.
That's right.
As a cake. Dress up pink.
I was very young at that point. Yeah, I was a very. There's a picture of me somewhere. My mom, I'm sure has it, of me in front of that cake castle.
Cake castle.
I do not remember it, but there's a picture of me somewhere.
1996 or something like that.
I was young.
When that happened.
Yeah.
So even having that memory, and now here I am celebrating the 50th. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
And I'm able to say to my kids, because you know how everybody was criticizing the colors and the 50th, and I told Kyla, you hear about it more now because of social media.
Yes.
When they celebrated the 25th, you barely heard about it.
Right. And I personally love the cake, but it's a unpopular opinion, but that's okay.
But it's different when you're there and you see it.
Of course.
So when I showed it to Kyla, she's like, "Wow, they had it dressed up like that." Yep. And it's not the first time that they changed that castle.
No. It's multiple times.
They do it all the time. So
we all get this from social media where we feel everyone's opinion all at once. And a lot of the times it turns into this negative, like, oh, I wish it wasn't this way, I wish it wasn't that way. As a local, I'm starting to learn how to do this. Have you learned to kind of tune all that out and just kind of make your own judgment when you kind of walk up to the castle? Like, let's take the castle color as an example. I remember I read multiple times from friends saying, I'm not a fan of it, it looks terrible. And then I went for myself to see it, and I was like, I kind of like it.
I
kind of like it. Like, there's nothing wrong with it.
No.
And I think that somehow that negativity that you were talking about before kind of gets duplicated. It gets echoed so much where we can barely hear, like, oh, you know what? It kind of Looks great. And you know there were a lot of Imagineers who thought through that color to make it something that we could all like. And now that I see it every day, it feels like everybody loves it.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer, after following Walt Disney World for so long, Disney doesn't do anything without a purpose.
Yes.
We can all have opinion. We can all be upset about it. But they always have a purpose. And that purpose, we may not agree with it, but for one way or the other, they make it work. It's very rarely that you see Disney moving with a decision and then pulling back from that decision. At least that they present it to us, the guests, that way. I'm assuming behind the scenes that happens a lot, but as an organization, I see it that way. So, because I've been in management my whole entire life, I also understand business standpoint of view. I also understand why Disney's making certain changes. Pricing is another one
that
true. Is being out there for the longest time. But Disney's Disney, and I'm at the point now that I always say, no matter what Disney does, people are always going to talk about it.
Yes.
But interesting fact, Universal has been increasing prices in their merchandise and food. You don't hear people talking about it. Now, so
why is that? Wait, why is that? You just Disney gets it all, and then
Disney
Universal just kind of quietly follows, and you don't hear anything.
Right, Disney. Because it's Disney's Disney. Disney's the granddaddy of all. But people don't notice that the Universal have been doing it. It's not even the media. The media hasn't even seen, hey, the prices have increased. You could have got a T-shirt for $26, $28 in Universal, maybe $30. Now they're in $35, $40. But these companies have to make up money from somewhere. If we're paying more for milk and gas, so are they. So as a manager, I understand that standpoint of view.
That probably helps a lot when you see these changes. You can jump to that management experience that you have in parks and hospitality, and you can say to yourself, "Oh, I totally get it." Like you not only just have like an understanding, but you kind of make the best of it because you've understood that they're also trying to make the best of it at the same time.
Yeah.
You've been in their shoes.
Yeah, what other company can actually go into a furlough and pay benefits for so long? Or negotiate with their union and say, even though unfortunately we have to let certain people go, we're still going to pay their full benefit medical. All of that cost them billions of dollars.
Right. It wasn't easy. It wasn't. No, it was difficult for the cast members too. But they tried to make the best of it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, in our channel the other day in our live stream, we were talking about the reservation system.
Yes. Yes.
People are surprised that it's going all the way to 2024. And that's still buzzing in the media. And I'm thinking to myself, why are people so into that when Josh D'Amaro and Chapek said it multiple times? It's here to stay.
Yes.
Why are we so caught into, it's making it to 2024?
We knew it was coming. This is no surprise.
Right. Now, from the management standpoint of view, and you as a guest, as a park hopper, because I know you when I first discovered you will jump from park to park, even as a tourist, because I have watched old videos of yours. And all of us like doing that. But you got to see it this way. There are a company, and as a company, they cannot enter blindsided. They need to have a specific amount of staff allocated into that. And you will admit, for example, that they probably staff heavily in Magic Kingdom, forecasting that will happen, and not in Epcot. But something happened that day, things flip, and then they overstaff here in Magic Kingdom, but not in Epcot.
Right.
That has been resolved with the reservation system.
Because they know where everybody's going to be.
Exactly. Disney is a firm believer that everything they do it for the guests. Yes, I know that right now people are upset and they don't think that way, but Disney has always think about the guests first. And even in a restaurant, with my background and even Karen's background, when Disney staff for restaurants in the past, they will, and you probably will remember this, 11 o'clock they will open, every single register were open.
Yes.
Whether they were busy or not.
Yes.
But that's labor that sometimes was there for an hour and a half before seeing a lunch rush. Now, don't get me wrong, in busy season, they will see a lunch rush right away. But, you know, when you're spending millions over here, millions over there, they have to reallocate that budget. If we want to see more Rise of the Resistance, more Guardians of the Galaxies,
E-ticket attractions.
more
Yeah.
they need to save money one way or the other.
It's just unpopular. That's the problem. That's the whole problem. It's just unpopular. And in the, at least you could see, that's the thing. I can tell you can see it in the long term. You're not just thinking about the short term. And many people are thinking about, oh, you know, I have to pay more money and this resort's more expensive and all this food's more expensive, but you're trying to look at it in terms of the long term, and they're trying to look out 5 years too. I mean, imagine the 50th anniversary. How long do you think, as a former manager and all that, and how long do you think a company like Disney spends planning the 50th anniversary?
Oh, years.
Yeah. I'm thinking at least 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, it has to be.
Right. And so the idea that, you know, it changed suddenly, maybe some changes were made, you know, because of the, you know, the closures, but I don't think it was as dramatic as a lot of people think. Like, Disney is a long-term thinker. And as you've told me in terms of, you know, behind the scenes where you've seen, they still have the heart that we all know.
They do have the heart. I mean, it wasn't too long ago when they're talking about, what is it, the 100th celebration.
That's right.
I mean, and this is next year.
Yep. They've been planning it for a while.
Right, and here they are. They released that in November.
Yeah.
October, we're celebrating the 50th. In November, they're talking about something for the 100.
100 years ahead of the company.
Of the company next year.
Right.
So you're like, okay, you know, you can see where they're going with this. Disney does things with a purpose.
That's right. And they're always looking for new ways to kind of change how they interact with their audience. And I think this is just another one of those ways, which is great.
Yeah, they're testing the waters.
Always.
They know, you know. I mean, there's certain things that I'll say, hey, I wish they could have done better.
Yep, as we all do.
But with, you know, and that's a huge company. I mean, we're talking about
multi-billion dollars. Yeah, 100%. Carlos, I got to tell you, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. You are unbelievable insight, an amazing father, wonderful family you've raised together. Tell us where we can find your videos, where we can follow along, and where all the kids in the audience can see all the suggestions by all the kids. So they want to know what to eat, they want to know where to go. Where can we find you online?
All our social media handles are Cool K's Adventure, cool with a K.
Spell that for us. Make sure everybody got it.
So it's KOOL and then space K''S Adventures.
Perfect.
And, you know, the kid chose that name because, you know, they have to be cool. But they have to spell cool differently, so they have to spell it with a K.
It makes them extra cool.
Right, and the K's obviously come from Kal-El and Kyla, so... and adventures because we believe on living an adventure, you know, even if we go out today, we make it an adventure.
Yeah,
so
I love it. Thank you again, Carlos. This has been so much fun, and we'll continue spreading the magic together.
Yeah,
Looking forward to watching your videos. Thanks
Thank
much.
you. Thank
so
you.
much fun. A huge thank you to all of our patrons for making it possible. Love sharing in the magic with you. Don't forget to check out Cool K's adventures all over the internet. Going to link a lot of their videos. Thanks as always for being a part of it with me. Until next time, have a magical day.